Hello, third graders. Before we begin studying about botany and photosynthesis, I wanted to show you a flower that is actually growing, a plant that I can grow because I am not doing so well with the grass seed experiment. This plant, this flower likes a lot of sunlight. I am going to grow this in my front yard tomorrow. So I wanted to show you that. The grass seed experiment is not going so well. This cup actually has a couple of seeds that have germinated and are growing grass, but it's not the one that really should. Experiments do not always work out the way that we think that they should, though, so I wanted to share this. This plant right here did not have sunlight. It was in a cabinet, and this one here did, but I think I may have overwatered it. I'm not sure, maybe I put more grass seed in one, but sometimes this happens. I want you to share your observations on the back of your science booklet. If your grass is growing and doing well, show me that. Go ahead and put the date and then write cup with sunlight, cup without sunlight. You can draw a picture, you can record what happened in the experiment. We know that sunlight does affect growth. And even though some of you had the cup, like the picture I showed you on the YouTube video yesterday, watch that one if you haven't, even though the grass in the cup that's in the cabinet grows, it usually doesn't look as healthy, you will notice. The grass is a little more yellow, and this one looks green, but up close and in person with me, I can tell it's not as healthy as most grass. It's kind of a yellow color. Photosynthesis, that is what we're learning about today. There is a great jingle, a great song on studyjams.com. I'll put that in the lesson plans next week, but you can go ahead and watch it and sing along. I know how some of you like to sing, some of you don't, but it's still good information in the song. Okay. Today we will learn how the leaves of a plant make the plant's food so it can look nice and healthy like this flower that I showed you. Each time we and other animals breathe, everyone do it. I know you are already breathing, but take a deep breath. We exhale carbon dioxide into the air. Plants use the carbon dioxide along with water and mineral nutrients to make their own food. Let's read about how plants do this. Make sure you have a highlighter or a marker. You can even use a pencil and underline. Open your booklet to page 6. The title of the page is Photosynthesis. Plants make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis occurs in the leaves of a plant. Where does it occur? In the leaves. For photosynthesis to take place, the leaves must have carbon dioxide, water, mineral nutrients, and light. Even though my experiment didn't work out the way that it probably should have for some reason, plants are affected by light. That was our question. Are plants affected by light in that grass seed experiment? Yes, they are. What is the process called when plants make their own food? Say it in your head. Photosynthesis. Plants need sunlight like you and me. And I will stop. You don't have to hear the whole song. Highlight photosynthesis. What must the plant leaves have for photosynthesis to happen or occur? Let's look. The plants must have, highlight carbon dioxide, water, mineral nutrients, light. Paragraph 2. We are going to learn how water and carbon dioxide enter the leaves. Water and mineral nutrients are carried from the roots of a plant through the stem to the leaves. Try to visualize that. Remember, in reading, we see it in our head. So the water and mineral nutrients are carried from the roots. Picture the roots through the stem. and into the leaves. Carbon dioxide from the air enters the leaves through tiny holes called stomata. I think that's how I say it. Stomata? Stomata are usually located on the underside of leaves. How do water and mineral nutrients get to the leaves? From the roots through the stem. How does carbon dioxide enter the leaves? Look back, through those tiny holes. At the end of the second sentence, let's highlight what those tiny holes are called. Stomata, I think stomata. Paragraph 3. We're going to find out more about leaves. The leaves of a plant contain chlorophyll molecules. Chlorophyll molecules make leaves look green. When sunlight is absorbed by the chlorophyll molecules, a chemical reaction, we have learned about chemical reactions. A chemical reaction occurs between the water and the carbon dioxide molecules in the leaves. Think to yourself, what is this paragraph mostly about? Did you say chlorophyll? Because that's right. Paragraph 3. What causes plants to look green? Chlorophyll molecules. In the first sentence, highlight the words chlorophyll molecules. Sunlight causes a chemical reaction to occur between the water and the carbon dioxide in the leaves. What happens when there is a chemical reaction? We learned this in our chemistry unit. New substances are created. Let's find out what new substances are created when sunlight produces a chemical reaction between the water and carbon dioxide molecules. Follow along as I read paragraph 4. A chemical reaction between water and carbon dioxide molecules in the leaves produce, what do they produce? Oxygen and a sugary substance called glucose. Glucose is the plant's food. Glucose made in the leaves travels to all the parts of the plant through the stem and roots. Oxygen, which animals need to live, is released by the leaves through the stomata and becomes water vapor. What did we learn about in this paragraph, third graders? That chemical reaction and what happens and what new substances are created when sunlight produces that chemical reaction between the water and carbon dioxide molecules. What two new substances are created when sunlight produces a chemical reaction? What two new substances are created? Let's look. Produces, makes. Oxygen and glucose. Highlight those two words. What is the plant's food called? I'm calling the plant he. A plant doesn't need oxygen, so its food is that glucose, that sugary substance. What do plants produce that we need to live? Think of that deep breath. In oxygen, out carbon dioxide. Look at the chemical formula at the bottom of the page. This type of chemical formula might look familiar from when we studied chemistry. It's all coming together at the end of third grade. You're ready for fourth grade. What do plants produce? Oh, I already said that we need to live. It's oxygen. What does 6H2O mean? Right here. 6 molecules of water. What does 6CO2 mean? 6 molecules here of carbon dioxide. This chemical formula tells us that 6 molecules of water and 6 molecules of carbon dioxide change to a new substance. Here, the arrows show us what it makes, glucose and oxygen. How many molecules of glucose and how many molecules of oxygen are produced, you can look here, from 6 molecules of water and 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen, because we have glucose right here. So it makes glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen. The little plant, like I showed you, gives oxygen, releases oxygen. Now let's look at the diagram on page 7, where you see a sun and a sunflower. And if you're like me and you have a highlighter, you want to color in the sun. Okay, that adds some color to the page. Now let's get started. Look at the picture of the sun that you may have colored like I did. What does the plant need from the sun? We see that arrow that's going from the sun to the plant, specifically the leaves. What does the plant need from the sun? If you said light, you are correct. Write the word light on the line next to the number 1. And my pen doesn't work. It's good to be prepared. But I have a pencil. Light. Look at number 2 now, right below number 1. It is also pointing to the plant, specifically the leaf. Right there, what does the plant need from the air? Carbon dioxide. Write the words carbon dioxide on the lines next to number 2. Look at number 3 and 4. I think I could have written carbon and then dioxide underneath, but that's okay. We're looking at the roots. What does the plant need from the soil for photosynthesis? 2 things. Are you guessing? Water and mineral nutrients. Remember, this is what we visualized. The water and nutrients come through the roots, up the stem, into the leaves. Now let's look at number 5 and 6. Are you thinking too, we need some color? We have to wait till we're finished and then we can talk about color. On the lines next to number 5 and 6, we will write what is created by the process of photosynthesis. Do you remember? You can look back at the chemical formula over there on page 6, but it is glucose. And then the gas is released that the plant doesn't need, but we do. It's amazing how God made this process work together. Oxygen. So you can see everything the plant needs on the left side. Let's go down. What do plants need? Light, carbon dioxide, water, and mineral nutrients. Through the process of photosynthesis, we write what is created over here, glucose and oxygen. Glucose for the plant's food, and then oxygen is released. How does the carbon dioxide we exhale help plants? Remember, in oxygen, out carbon dioxide. Plants use it to make their own food. And then we already know how photosynthesis helps animals. It produces oxygen that animals need to live. Next week, we will talk more about our grass seed experiment. And now, what some of you have been waiting for, if you want to color in your leaves, your stem and leaves. As you color, think about what you're doing. I am coloring the leaves and the stem green, and they are green because of that chlorophyll, and they become green through the process of photosynthesis. You can color your flower too. Okay, good job, third graders.